Sesaat lagi Anda akan menyaksikan Formula E New York Race yang dipersembahkan oleh
change in the ABB Formula E World Championship.
Come on!
Welcome to New York City, one of the most iconic cities in the world. Maybe the greatest city in the world is about to play host to round 12 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. The New York City eprix on the streets of Red Hook, Brooklyn, just over the Buttermilk Channel from downtown Manhattan. A few miles from here, the Brooklyn Bridge that you can see. And this is how the grid will line up for the next 45 minutes plus one lap of racing. At the very back is Nick Cassidy, yesterday's race winner. Eduardo Mortara is 21st. He's the championship leader. He is going to have his work cut out to score any points today. Lucas Di Grassi, his teammate at Rocket Venturi, all the way down in 18th place after an infraction during qualifying. Sam Bird had a car crash in front of him during qualifying, so he's only down in 16th position. That car was Jean-Eric Vergne. He is the driver who is currently coming into this race third in the championship. He starts 12th. Antonio Giovinazzi, the Italian for the Dragon team, has his best ever Formula E qualifying. He's there on the left-hand side in 11th spot. 10th, Robin Freins. Felt like he should have been on pole position, but hit the wall during qualifying and didn't make it through to the duels. Then is the two Avalanche Andretti's. Jake Dennis in 9th position, and then a very impressive qualifying performance from Oliver Askew. At his home race, the man from Melbourne, Florida, is lining up in 8th position. Then, just ahead of them is Nick De Vries. He is the champion from last season. Not in the championship fight here, but Mercedes EQs certainly are in a championship fight, and he will be looking for big points. Mitch Evans, 4th in the championship at the moment, 18 points off Eduardo Mortara, the championship leader. He starts 6th. Stoffel Vandoorne is only 5 points off Eduardo Mortara, the championship leader, and he starts 5th. Those two are the ones I'm going to be keeping my eye on the most. Sergio Sede Câmara, superb performance from the Dragon Penske Autosport driver. He is 4th on the grid, the Brazilian looking for his first points finish of the season. Can he finish inside the top 10? Andre Lotterer of Tagoe Porsche looking for his first Formula E race victory despite 8 podiums. And Alexander Sims is on the front row for Mahindra Racing, the British driver lining up behind Antonio Felix da Costa. 8th in the championship, 2nd last time out in Marrakesh, retired from the eprix yesterday. Can the DS Techeetah driver take his first win of the year? DS Techeetah are in the battle for the team's championship, but are yet to win a race so far this season. My name is Jack Nichols, a legend of America. Dario Franchitti is alongside me here in the commentary booth. So much to look out for today, but for me, Mercedes EQ, Ian James, and the Jaguar squad of Mitch Evans, those are the two that can have big championship implications this afternoon.
Absolutely, Jack, but can anybody find the advantage to pass Antonio Felix da Costa and the gold and black Techeetah sitting on pole position? And can the championship contenders at the back get to the front, get into the points even to score?
The cars doing burnouts before they pull forward into the front 2 rows. Da Costa lining up on poles, Sims alongside him, all the tyre smoke being carried along on that beautiful, refreshing breeze that's coming off the Atlantic Ocean. As the heart rates begin to rise inside the garages. 45 minutes plus one lap of racing. Only 4 races to go in the championship after this one. That's Evans' view from 6th. Da Costa on pole, all 5 lights are on. And we go green in New York City. And it's a slow start for Lotterer. He finally manages to get away. But Antonio Felix da Costa has a huge lead coming down into the first corner. Up the inside goes Sergio Sede Câmara trying to get or keep Nick De Vries behind him, and he manages to pull it off. So it is Da Costa leading, Sims 2nd, Vandoorne up into 3rd, Sede Câmara in 4th, De Vries in 5th, Dennis in 6th. Dennis has got ahead of Evans. Giovinazzi's made great progress and up into 8th. Askew drops down to 9th. Robin Freins is 10th in the Envision. Lotterer down into 11th position. Cassidy will have to serve a drive-through penalty because of a battery change earlier on. But what a perfect start for Antonio Felix da Costa. Sims didn't get a great getaway, but Lotterer didn't move at all.
No, I think a technical issue for Andre Lotterer. The car just did not go, and then he got everything reset and off he head. But right now, Lotterer sitting in 11th place, and that's going to be hard to come back from.
So there they come around the Manhattan hairpin. Everybody going defensive further back to the outside. There goes Sam Bird, attempting to go all the way around the outside of Dan Ticktum, but not able to pull that one off. Now they come up through Buttermilk Bend and into the chicane for the first time. Then out through Clinton Wharf, the final quick left-hander on the circuit, and that's a lap around the streets of Brooklyn. And da Costa is leading, and Alexander Sims is right with him, and they pulled away a little bit from Stoffel Van Dorn, who's in 3rd place. Robin Freins on the attack. He goes past Antonio Giovinazzi. The green Envision makes his way up into 8th position now. So good early progress from the Dutchman. Askew dropped down into 10th at the start now. Lotterer is there in 11th, but Freins making progress as the cars flash down Bound Street.
And you see how tight the circuit is, how quick the lap happens. You've got to make progress. When you get an opportunity to make a pass, you better make it. Absolutely clatter the curve in turn 6.
Sims is staying with da Costa. Da Costa looked like he had a big breakaway, but Sims came right back at him, and the two are now right together. Jake Dennis has gained 3 places. Dan Ticktum actually gained 4 places off the start. Jean-Eric Verne dropped 6 positions. Verne dropped 6 places, and he's now just 1 position ahead of Mortara. What happened to Verne at the start? When we get the replays, we'll try and pick it out. We're on board with da Costa, leading the way.
Great stuff from Alexander Sims in the orange Mahindra P2. You get a great view, and they're jumping over the curves again. He really did a fantastic job in qualifying, but he's hanging right there. He's getting in the slipstream of Antonio Felix da Costa, which is helping him to save a bit of energy, go quick, stay in P2, and occasionally have a look at taking the lead.
The gap is a second between Sims and Van Dorn. There's a look from Dan Ticktum on the attack on Buemi.
What a late move, but lovely stuff from Dan Ticktum.
Ticktum carving through the field. He's now up into 12th position. Bird is trying to chase Buemi as well. But the thing is, that move from Ticktum has cost him a lot of ground to the gang in front. Sims is sitting right underneath the rear of da Costa's car. He is stuck to that gearbox.
Absolutely right. One thing to consider, 45 minutes plus a lap race, very hot out there. The tyres are going to be absolutely tortured today. So you set the car up to work more in the middle to the end of the race. You're going to see cars that work right now and then cars that will work later. But when the rear tyres start to go off later in the race, that can mean you're in absolute trouble. You just can't put the car in, just wheel spinning out of every single corner, losing speed and losing position. So you've got to set the car up for the whole race, not just for these first 3 laps.
Let's have a look into Buttermilk Bend. Giovinazzi, sorry, Sunday Camera fighting quite hard. I think he was trying to get the Vries coming into turn 11, which was a bit of a unique place to attempt the pass. Across the line we go again. Askew's got ahead of Giovinazzi now.
Watch for Dennis behind Giovinazzi.
Oh, da Costa goes in deep, does he into turn 1. Big lock up from Antonio Felix da Costa. Now comes through the dog loop, and he is still in the lead, but goodness me, that was, he went in a bit deep there.
Pay attention. You've got to be inch perfect. Look how close the walls are. The slightest mistake, and you're not going to lose a position, but your day is over.
Da Costa leading. Sims second. Van Dorn third. De Vries fourth with 41 minutes plus 1 lap to go in the 12th round of the ABB FIA Formula E Championship. Da Costa leading. Sims second. Van Dorn third. Here's a look at the start. Look at Lotterer. Oh, he jump-started. He jump-started. So he hit the start, and then he had to hit the brake. That's what happened to Andre Lotterer there.
Yeah, he did.
Or did it automatically do it, or something like that? There was a weird one.
Love to see that again, Jack. That definitely seemed to go, didn't it? But it didn't go the same. Oh, here's Verne.
So Verne's getaway is okay. He's on the dirty side of the grid. He loses out to the Nissan. Down into the first corner. To the outside goes Gunter. And meanwhile, down they come towards turn 1. And da Costa leads. Sims is second. I think da Costa's just turning in a lot later into turn 1 than Sims is. That's why it kind of looks like he's going wide the whole time.
Which is
I think he's just doing it differently.
It's fairly brave because it opens up the door to Alexander Sims, and he might not need too many invitations to have a big, aggressive overtaking opportunity up the inside. You can see the Mahindra locking wheels and absolutely sending it.
Mercedes running third and fourth. And we've got 39.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go. There is Sete Camera, who's just in front of Jake Dennis in the fight over 5th and 6th. The first white and red car is the Dragon of Sete Camera. Then the next red and white car is Jake Dennis. And this is Mitch Evans, who will need to make up a little bit of progress. And, oh, sticks the nose in. The gap opened up. Evans had to kind of go for it, but it wasn't really a clean overtaking opportunity. Evans needs to make a bit of progress here because Van Dorn is up in 3rd and he's down in 7th, and they started 5th and 6th on the grid. Yeah,
you could see Jake Dennis in the orange and white Andretti car block and then move back out on the inside. That was all the invitation that Mitch Evans needed. Mitch Evans looks like he's going to have another go up into turn 1. Dennis goes defensive. Mitch Evans to the outside, but nothing doing right there. And Robin Francis just watching on.
Right at the back of that queue. On board with Evans again.
This is him through turn 4 now. Accelerate out of 5 here, and it's a long straight into turn 6. Let's see if Evans is feeling brave enough to attempt something into turn 6.
How hard is Dennis going to fight as well? Not close enough this time. Into the left-hander of turn 6. Mitch Evans, 4th in the championship, really needs a big haul of points to try and get his championship challenge back on track, because as it stands, Stoffel Van Dorn would be scoring the big points and moving to the top of the championship. If it finished like this, okay, very early stages, but Van Dorn would be 10 points clear of Mortara and 22 points clear of Mitch Evans. Still a long way to go.
That's a very late defensive move from Sete Camera. He's weaving very late in the braking zone, and he might not get away with that too many times.
On board again with Dennis, looking back at Evans.
Turn 14, the last corner. You can see the back of the car sliding. Evans again in good position to have an attempt. Is Dennis going to go defensive? Yeah, just with the braking zone. It's going to be frustrating for Mitch Evans in the Jaguar.
Ticktum has now made up 6 places, absolutely charging through the field down Ticktum. He's got quite a big gap to... Oh no, he's managed to catch Oliver Askew as well. So he's only half a second behind Askew. De Costa is leading the way. Sims in 2nd. Van Dorn in 3rd. 4th is Nick de Vries. Mortara's just got ahead of Oliver Rowland in the Mahindra. Then you've got the lead queue, really, which is the top 8 cars there. De Costa, Sims, Van Dorn, de Vries, Sete Camera, Dennis, Evans and Price, all separated pretty much by less than 4 seconds. And then there's a gap back to Lossera and the next kind of queue, as it were. Jean-Eric Vergne just got ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi and up into 14th position. There is attack mode on the outside of the hairpin. It's just one attack mode today, and it's 8 minutes long, so that'll be an interesting one.
So attack mode gives you 13% more power for those 8 minutes. That uses energy out of the battery too, but 13% is a massive amount of difference. So when you use that tactically today, it could win you or lose you this race. You see Robin Franks, driver's eye view, camera inside his helmet, right next to his eye. You hear him lifting and coasting, saving a bit of energy. The cars don't start the race with enough energy to finish it, so they've got to regenerate energy back into the battery, and they've also got to lift and coast in certain points, while still trying to go as quickly as possible and gain an advantage on all those around you.
So at the moment, Van Dorn and de Vries have a bit more than De Costa and Sims. Sete Camera has quite a bit less, 2% less than the Mercedes EQs in front of him, and that was to sort of be expected, to be honest. The Dragon Penske car there, number 7, quick over 1 lap, but there's a reason they haven't scored any points this year, and the car is not very strong in the race.
Yeah, just powertrain efficiency, really, and the cars run about, it takes about 2.5% per lap is about the number, so if you see a 2% difference 10 minutes into the race, yeah, then a wee bit of bother.
0.5% up on the cars in front.
That's Stoffel Van Dorn being told by Stephen Lane the energy usage, because we just put it on the screen. The teams don't know how much energy each other has until we decide to put it on the telly.
Not us.
No, not us, but our boss.
Our boss, exactly right. Now, we saw this yesterday, the Mercedes EQ drivers, we see them in 3rd and 4th at the moment in the silver cars. It almost looked at one point like they were going backwards, and they were going to finish outside the points, and then we saw that Stoffel Van Dorn had just started to edge forward when the time was right, so they've been very patient yesterday, and I do expect more of the same today.
Dan Ticktum has activated his attack mode, so he's the first driver to do that. We're on board with Mitch Evans, coming down into 6, and then the right-hander at 7, and then back out now towards the left-hander at turn 9. De Costa leading, Sims 2nd, Van Dorn 3rd, de Vries 4th, and Evans will be a bit frustrated to be stuck behind these drivers. He'll feel like he's got a bit more pace than those around.
When you're behind a slower driver, it knocks you out of your rhythm, which is one thing in a normal race, but in a Formula E race, it knocks you out of your energy-saving rhythm too. So then you've lost the energy-saving opportunities, and then you've got to use energy to close the gap to the cars in front after you pass. If you're Mitch Evans, after you pass Jake Dennis and Sergio Setigamma.
Van Dorn also has Nick de Vries in behind him as well to help him. He's not under a lot of pressure here, Stoffel Van Dorn, with de Vries behind and Setigamma behind them. Minutes plus 1 lap to go. Here we go down the back straight towards turn 6 and 7 again. Da Costa's lead is up to about 0.6 of a second now, so just stretching it a little bit, not quite as thoroughly under pressure as he was earlier on from Alexander Sims. It's so interesting, Da Costa doesn't whack those curves down into turn 6. Everybody else boings over them aggressively, but Da Costa doesn't, which is quite interesting.
No, absolutely not. And a little bit further back in this battle, Sam Bird in P10, he's made 6 places up. And Mitch Evans having another look, and Jake Dennis, he's gone alongside, he's got track position. I think Jake Dennis has got the place, you know. Sorry, Mitch Evans.
We're still side by side coming into Buttermilk Bend, and Evans is through. So Evans gets ahead of Jake Dennis. It was a bit of a weird one. It's almost like Evans showed his nose, and that kind of spooked Dennis a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. And now, if I'm Jake Dennis, I'm going to follow Mitch Evans up to the back of Sergio Setigamma and allow him to be the one to open the door.
But if I'm Robin Freitz, I'm going to try and overtake Jake Dennis down into turn 1. Freitz laid on the brakes.
Efficiency on clean air. Let's catch him up without over-consuming.
It's Joseph Rucker, Mitch Evans' race engineer, saying, right, now we're in clean air. Let's catch up without using too much energy. Easier said than done.
Absolutely, because every instinct in a racing driver's body is saying, go, just use everything you've got. And the car is beeping and telling you when to lift off, when to regenerate, when you're overusing energy, basically. And you can ignore it, but you won't make the end of the race, so it adds another complexity to what the drivers are doing.
Buemi's got ahead of de Grassi. Quite a few of the midfield runners, or maybe second half of the midfield, have started activating their attack modes early. And there goes de Vries then. And Setigamma, and now running in 11th. We'll see if the Neo car can stay there.
Attack this lap, opposite Sims. Attack this lap, opposite Sims. Confirm.
Here we go then. So, in a way, de Vries taking attack mode has kind of opened the opportunity for Van Dorn to activate it too, because he's got a bit of a gap behind, but they're saying opposite to Sims. So if Sims takes attack mode, don't you take attack mode. Here we go, down into the Manhattan hairpin. The leader does it, the top 2 do it, and Stoffel Van Dorn takes the lead. Da Costa takes attack mode from the lead of the race, but Van Dorn now suddenly finds himself in first position. That's a very interesting twist, because I think Diaz Techeetah thought they would get out ahead of Van Dorn.
And Van Dorn's going to push like crazy through this last corner. It's probably almost a foregone conclusion that Da Costa's going to pass him, but he's going to make sure that Sims doesn't get past him to take attack mode the next lap. No, he's not. Da Costa's not even trying. This is huge for Stoffel Van Dorn.
Sims defending really hard from Nick de Vries down into the first corner. Van Dorn then, and Evans and Freitz and Bird are the 4 drivers in the top 10 that haven't used their attack mode yet, with half an hour plus 1 lap to go. The team's saying earlier that...
Push to attack now, ignore 6, ignore 9.
Ignore 6 means when the car tells you to lift and coast. Don't, just keep going, use everything you've got. You're going to have to pay for it later, but you've got to get that gap right now on those cars behind. Da Costa's probably going to pass him. It's whether Sims and the orange Mahindra running 3rd does.
This is going to be tight. Van Dorn going to take attack mode. Will he come out in ahead of Alexander Sims? Here he comes down into turn 10. It's going to be tight. I don't think he is. Evans activates it as well. He doesn't. He doesn't quite manage to get Alexander Sims. So Sims still there in 2nd place. The top 4 have broken away a little from Sergio Setigamma, who's running in 5th position. Evans is 6th. Freitz is 7th. Bird is 8th. So Bird has got ahead of Dennis as well. I have to say, Sam Bird started 16th, and he's already in 8th.
Mighty performance.
Absolutely remarkable opening segment of the race for Sam Bird. Less than half an hour plus a lap to go. And Bird is under pressure now from Jake Dennis into turn 1. And Dennis gets ahead, but Dennis is in attack mode. Bird is not at the moment, choosing to do it later than those around him by the looks of things. Obviously, the well, maybe not obviously, but the clock on the left-hand side is how long they all have in this extra power attack mode phase. Yellow flag at turn 1. James Barkley is the team principal of Jaguar, and Evans gets ahead of Sete Camera. Evans through on Sete Camera up into 5th position.
And watch, Evans now has to close the gap as quickly as he can to De Vries, while again using the minimum amount of energy possible.
I think it was Roland that had an issue at turn 1 because he was 4 seconds slower than everyone else in the first sector. So I think Oliver Roland's had a moment at the first corner. 28 minutes plus 1 lap to go. So Evans in attack mode now, in 5th position. Can he close in on the back of those top 4? There comes Da Costa, the race leader. Then it's Sims, then it's Van Dorn, then it's De Vries, then it is Evans in the Jaguar. And this is where we'll start to see Van Dorn versus Evans come into play a little bit. The 2 championship protagonists. And there's an attack from Lotterer, going past Sam Bird down into turn 1. So Bird now, with this late attack mode, means he's running at lower power for quite a while here. Same is true of Freitas.
And we've talked a lot about energy management, tyre management again. It's going to be critical to see Oliver Roland and the problem he had. Gunther, he just kept squeezing Gunther into the wall, and Gunther just kept driving. Yeah, so I guess that's when a rock meets a hard place. But yeah, tyre degradation is going to be key later on in this race, because they're going to torture, especially those rear tyres.
The left-hander of turn 9. Evans has joined the back of the Mercedes EQs. The top 6 all have activated their attack mode. Robin Freitas activates his now for Envision. And he lost quite a bit of time there getting stuck behind Lotterer.
Yeah, you could see it happening, and he didn't want to force the issue, because the other option is Lotterer drives him into the wall. We saw it a lot last year, so discretion be the better part of valor, Robin Freitas, but he's going to have to make, he's got an extra 3+ minutes on those in front of him of attack mode. He's going to have to go.
Yeah, I think that has maybe compromised Freitas' race a little bit here, because he's going to be a long way off that lead pack that he was a part of earlier on in the eprix. 26 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Da Costa leading, Sims second. Now Stoffel Van Dorn in 3rd position, trying to get ahead of Alexander Sims for 2nd. Da Costa is managing this race pretty well up at the front, a 2nd ahead. But when will Van Dorn be able to get ahead of Alexander Sims? Bouncing over the curves. Evans is right in this. Certainly right in the podium hunt. Maybe the win is a bit too far away for the New Zealander, but certainly in the podium hunt. And he will have attack mode for a lap longer. Little nose to the inside to try and put De Vries off. Yeah,
a little dummy there, and you could see De Vries, you watch his head, he's already looking in the mirrors, waiting for that sort of opportunistic pass by Mitch Evans. He'll be looking again all the way down the straight from turn 14 to turn 1, watching Evans, expecting that lunge into 1 on the braking zone.
Through the left-hander.
Look at them slide the rear of the car through that left-hander from the moment they turn in. You hear the cars hit the ground just as it crosses the start-finish line.
Evans, a very good overtaker. The win in Jakarta coming from a decisive move on Jean-Eric Vergne. Did an amazing move in Monaco a few years ago for the lead of the race. Big slide from De Vries. Here comes Evans now. He also gets a bit of oversteer, but this surely is going to be Evans' opportunity. Looks to the inside, and Evans is through. Surely up into 4th place. Yes, Evans does it. Error from Nick De Vries. Evans pounces, and now he's just 1 place behind his title rival.
Good job.
Mighty. Oh, a fantastic, perfect move. He saw the mistake from De Vries, took advantage of it. Used a little bit more energy, I would say. You heard him stay on the throttle a bit longer, but he'll make up for that in the next couple of corners, I'm sure.
Now he's right behind Stoffel Van Dorn. This is turning into a really good race for Evans. First couple of laps in, you're thinking, oh, Evans is not looking in a good position. He was down in 7th place. Van Dorn was in 3rd, but he's managed to... It was that Van Dorn with a bit of an error through the chicane as well.
Just a little bit too sideways, yeah, over the curves.
Using this extra power when they're in attack mode really heats up the rear tyres. And that's what I think we're seeing with some of the cars out there. That's the reason for De Vries' slide at the final corner. Oh, sorry, on the previous lap, I should say.
Yeah, in turn 5. And the problem is, when you heat them up, Jack, it's very difficult to get them back into working condition.